Good morning. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, let's do a time lapse. When I get a few sips of coffee in me, let's get the tarp awning out and we'll do a time lapse of me putting that up. Here we go. Socks and sandals, baby. You gotta look stylish when you're putting up a tarp awning. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm not gonna do time lapse. We're gonna keep it in real time because we keep it real here. And I want to show you just how slow I move in the morning. I've had a half a cup of coffee in me. I want to show you the mistakes I made and how long it really took to put this tarp up this morning. I really should have had 2 cups of coffee before I even started this, but I thought, we're going to go with this. We're going to go with it because this is way more funny than sometimes I make things look too easy, with the time lapse. It kind of takes out the mistakes. And I want to just talk you through this and show you the mistakes I really made. So I have this one bag here that I'm taking back to put up so it won't blow away in the wind. I keep all my tarp poles in it. I keep the 2 tent stakes that I need and the paracord. And this is where I made my first mistake. I got the tarp out too quickly. I should still have the tarp in the box at this point. The tarp should be the last thing that comes out. What I should have done is I should have went ahead and paced off my steps to where the tent stakes need to be nailed down. I should have gone ahead and got my paracord situation straightened out and got the knots out of that. But I didn't stick with the process. I got ahead of myself. The tarp should not even be out yet. See, because if the wind came up right now, it would shake the tarp around, and I didn't pace out things correctly. As you'll see here shortly, I'm way too far back. The tarp only sticks out 8 feet from the van, and so these tent stakes should only be down about 12 to 13 feet from the van, and I'm out probably 18 feet right now. But I'll show you how I found that out here shortly. This is probably the worst job I've ever done at putting this tarp up. And I thought, I'm not going to upload this video. There's no way. And then I reconsidered it and I thought, no, because this is more of the way things really are. Things don't always go perfectly when you're putting up tents and awnings and all that stuff. So this is where I didn't have the paracord at the right length. It's just all kind of things went wrong in this. And see, if I would have done this in fast time, you would have missed this. And also, my back is sore today, so I'm bending and moving like a 90-year-old man. And it was right around this point where I thought, did I put on sunscreen? So I've got other things on my mind, and I was just cloudy in my thinking today. This was the funniest awning installation ever. But about at this point, I'm starting to make some progress. It's starting to come together. I'm getting a little structure going on here. And I'd already put together my pole that I use horizontally across the front, so I didn't have to screw those together because they don't snap together like the red poles do. These kind of twist together. And once I get this one up, then I'm making progress. But then I realize the guidelines are out way too far. So I've got to pull those up and replant them. And then here's the problem. The cleat is a one-way cleat on this thing, so it's really difficult to shorten the wire if there's not tension on it. So it's like trying to unwind some fishing wire. It's very, very cumbersome at this point. So you can continue laughing. That's fine. I understand. I should have thought this out better. But this is going to help somebody one day. They're going to come across this video. They're going to get a laugh out of it. They'll say, look at this guy. He practically had to put the thing up twice because he's had to move the stakes around. He's had to shorten the guidelines. But you know what really comes in handy is that I've got that pole on horizontally right now, because if I didn't, the tarp would just be flopping everywhere. So that was a smart thing I did, was coming up with that brace, going horizontally. And I'll give you a close-up shot of all this so you'll understand once I get through with this part. Yeah, so the goal is to drive the stakes down once in the correct position the first time so you don't have to do it again. So I failed at the goal in this installation. But what I've learned is some things we'll talk about once we get a little close-up shot on when I go to take this back down. If I do two things before I put it in the bag, it will help for the next time I take it out and put it up. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. So it all finally came together. At this point, it's time for some celebration, hammer drop, and two other things to fasten up. And I'll show you that. So after I get the basic structure up, then I come up here and, kind of tie up some other things. I ended up putting a Velcro strap here through this grommet. So that holds it tight against this cross pole here. And then I've got one other hook. What I did was I took a bungee cord, cut it, tied a knot in it, run it through the grommet. So it's like that. And there's one on each corner and one here in the middle. And this one just hooks right there. Gives a little extra support in the middle. So one thing I've got to remember that I always forget is it's best for me to loosen these cleats a little bit before I take it down to put it away. It makes it much easier when I go to put it up the next time if I do that. And that's all it is to it. This thing is held up to some really gusty winds, and it's all thanks to this horizontal piece that I added. It's just another pole just to give it more support, keep it tighter and stronger. So I'm getting a late start on the day. I'm just kind of getting up and about. I haven't even finished my coffee and decided to go ahead and put this awning up. And next time I put it up, I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to have everything out before I even pull the tarp out. Everything's going to be, the poles are going to be in place. The stakes are going to be down because I know how to pace it off now. You just walk out 8 feet. That's where the tarp's going to end. And then come out in about another 4 or 5 feet and stake the tent stake down. So what we're talking about is just come out about 12 feet from the van and go ahead and stake down the stakes for the guidelines. And I don't have to come out at an angle anymore. I can pretty much just come out completely straight because I don't need to give tightness to this way anymore because of that pole does that. I just need to give tightness coming off of the rack that holds the solar up to this pole here. So I just like having things like that figured out so you don't struggle, each time you put up an awning. It's very simple. If the tarp's the last thing that comes out of the box, everything else is in place and ready to go. And here's what it would have looked like if I would have stuck with my original plan to do a fast motion time lapse. Man, that really looks like I know what I'm doing when you do it this way. But that's no fun, it just looks too easy. It looks like I'm too much of an expert when we all know I'm just a guy living in a van. But that looks pretty flawless in fast motion, even though I had to move the tent stakes. All right. Take care, be well, and smash the bell.